it's a good time for everyone to be cooking at home and everyone to be thinking, sustainably and looking after ourselves. So I just thought this week we'd do a lesson, not so much cooking a dish, but cooking so that we can maximize what we get for what we pay for. So as you can see in the pictures of the chicken here, whole chicken, really lovely, fresh chicken. Again, it's just being sustainable and supporting local suppliers, which is what we at Local Connections are all about and what I'm about, and that's how I like to cook. This chicken's from Hunter Valley Chicken and Game, which is on Broadmeadow. Keith. He's passionate about organic and beautiful chicken, which is what I'm passionate about as well. So it's really good to use to support local business and use local suppliers wherever we can. So today we've got a chicken here. Sticking with our $10 budget, we've got a chicken that costs about $7.50. And what we're going to do today is, I think where a lot of people get scared of using whole chickens or whole animals, is breaking it down and doing all that finicky hard stuff that just seems a little bit challenging. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to use a whole chicken, which will change your whole mind, because the amount of money that you can save buying a whole chicken as opposed to buying the packeted stuff, the six thighs or a few wings or drumsticks that you can get in those packets from Coles or Woolworths are great, but buying a whole bird is again much more sustainable. You've got the whole bird. We're going to utilize the whole thing. Nothing's going to go to waste, and you're going to get value for money and hopefully learn a new skill today. So what I want to do is I want to break it down into all the segments. I'm just going to tell you how you can use those different parts for different dishes. So I've got the chicken. I've taken it out of its packaging, given it a bit of a rinse, got rid of any of the excess blood. Just giving it a pat dry so I can work with it safely. And one of the funny things is when you're working with whole animals or breaking anything down at all, you just want to loosen it up a little bit, just so that you can actually work with it. Loosen the joints, loosen the hips, just like you would doing yoga. You want to loosen it up so that all the muscles are relaxed and you can work with it a little bit easier, because a lot of butchery and when you're breaking things down is using your hands for most of it, because the muscles will naturally come away, the skin will naturally come away. We use the knife as little as we possibly can because we don't want to cut into the meat, which is what we're paying for and which is what we're going to eat. So the less risk to damaging the stuff that we're going to use, the better. But first thing from breaking down a chicken is you just want to open up. It's that wishbone that we all know from our childhood, the wishbone, which is it runs down that breast. So the inside of the breast. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a little incision and I can feel where the bones are. It's so important to use your fingers to feel where everything is and know where they are, so that when you do commit and make the cut, that you're not cutting somewhere you shouldn't be. So I've just made an incision there so that I can remove the wishbone, and you want to remove it in one piece so that you're not leaving any bone in there. It takes a little bit of working, but once you get it and it's out, it'll make cutting the chicken up so much easier. So I've taken that out now. I'm going to keep that. That's just another bit of bone and another bit of flavour that we can utilise later. So first thing we do is we've got the chicken here. Lay it down, and you can see where those hip joints are down the side. You can see them there. So this is sort of the area where we're going to tickle the chicken or just release it to open up an area there. And so I'm just cutting through the skin. You can see through it. You can see where the area is. You can see that there's nothing underneath it that you're going to cut into. And so what I'm doing is I've just got the chicken like this. I've got my thumbs out here. I'm just pushing down the hip bones just to pop those joints out completely, so that now that I'm holding there, across here, that bottom area, that's all been released. So there's no bones connecting that, which will mean I can easily take it off. So I'm just using a knife, and just gravity is your best friend in this situation. And it's just coming away, and I'm barely even using the knife at all. And so there we've got a really nice chicken Maryland. Maryland is when the thigh and the drumstick are still connected together. So we'll come back to that later. I'm just going to put that back there. We'll take the other one off as well. And again, using gravity as your best friend, because it'll do a lot of the work for you. And I'm just cutting where I can see that there's no meat in the way. And I've got that released really nicely there. And so what we've got left is we've got a bit of that back end of the carcass there. So I'm just going to hold it up with my fingers. I'm just going to push through with the knife really gently. So it's been released like that. So that's all there pretty free. Really simple. They're chickens where people were a lot stronger. It's really easy to take that apart. And so that's a really nice piece of bone and cartilage that we're going to roast up to make a stock or a broth. There we go. And so I'm just going to put that back there as well. And so what we've got left with is we've got our wings and our breasts, like that. And the honey hole's been taken off and put at the back. And now we've got the wings there, which I'm just going to loosely just pop out. And all it takes is just a little twist, tiny little twist. It doesn't take much pressure at all. And I'm going to leave the wings on for now because it gives me a bit of stability on the chopping board when I want to take the breasts off. So if you run your finger down the top, you can feel where the spine is. I'm just going to make a little incision on each side of the spine, just so I know where the bones are and where the meat is. Make a few more cuts there, just gradually. You don't have to cut all the way through. Tiny little cuts so I can see what I'm doing. I'm opening it up so I can see where the meat is, see where the bones are. And then as you reveal more and you can see more using your fingers and you spread it apart, you can see exactly where you want to be working, and you can see where the bone is, see where the meat is. Makes it super easy to take it off. And again, using your hands to pull it away, because naturally that muscle will come off anyway. So just taking that off now, keeping the wings on, and I've got a chicken breast there now. And the skin's left on there, but what we'll do is we're going to take it off. Again, using your hands, it just comes off really easily. But we're going to keep that nice bit of skin because I know there's a lot of us out there that love a bit of fried crispy chicken. And what you can do with the skin is you can just put a pan on the stove, a little bit of oil, no heat, put the skin in, salt it first, chuck a clove of garlic in, maybe a little bit of thyme or rosemary. Then you just gradually bring the heat up and put it on really low and just let it slowly crisp up. And you're going to turn it once, maybe twice, but you'll end up with a really nice sheet of crispy chicken skin, which we can use for whatever we want, or you can just secretly eat it without anyone knowing. So we'll keep that and put it back there as well. And so what we've got now is we've got a really nice chicken breast. And so there's a lot of chicken lovers out there. You've got the tender there, which you can just take off with your hand, it just peels away. We'll keep that as well. And so now we've got a nice chicken breast. So for all the schnitzel fans, we're just going to lay that out now. Lay it down in front of you with the big end pointing away. And you're just going to have the knife on an angle like this. And we're just going to slowly, again, small cuts. They don't need to be big, they don't need to be deep. We're just going to open it up. It's called butterflying. So we're going to just gradually open it up like that. And sometimes when it's really big at the top and it's a little bit thick, you can do the same thing at the top and just open it up slightly, just so that once we have crumbed it, it's not too thick. You're not going to have that terrifying undercooked chicken when you're on a date and you've had someone over and you've made chicken schnitzel and it's undercooked. No one wants to live that. So we've got our chicken breast there that we've butterflied now. And you can just tenderize it a little bit. You can use whatever you want, but I mean, a fist is there, so you just give it a little tap it up. Smooth it out already. I've got a great sized chicken schnitzel, but once it's crumbed, it's going to get even bigger. But that's great. That's perfect that we can crumb. We can do a little bit of flour, a little bit of egg wash, crumb that, and then pan fry it. So I'm going to put that back there now. We're going to take the other breast off. What I thought we could do is, we're going to take the other breast. But what you can do with it is, you can get another 2 meals out of one breast. So if you're not going to have a chicken schnitzel, or just a, steamed chicken breast, you can take the rest off. And then again, same thing, taking the skin off. That's another tasty snack. That's off, we'll put that back there. And then we've got another breast, which you can cut in half, because mixed with a bit of veg, a little bit of rice or some sort of carbohydrate, that is enough to feed me in a meal with some veg, and again, with some carb. So we're just going to really thinly slice that. And what you can do is, if you're not going to have it tonight, if you're going to have it maybe in a couple of days' time, just cut it up in nice small pieces. It doesn't have to be any shape or size, just like, bite size. Just cut those up. And what we can do is we can put those in a bowl and we can marinate them. That marinate with the oil, so a little bit of olive oil. A little bit of salt. Black pepper. A little bit of oil. A little bit of mix. And that'll last, like the olive oil and the salt will preserve that chicken, give you a little bit longer to use it, but also the main thing is giving it flavour, so that when we do want to use it, we've imparted as much flavour into it as we possibly can. So that'll keep in the fridge again for 3 or 4 days. So we'll reserve that for another time. And so now all we've got left is we've got the carcass. And so we're just going to take those wings off. And you can just see where the joint is, and you just push your knife through. I'm not using any pressure at all. Cut the wings off there. So we can do hot wings, barbecued, if you want to fry them, whatever you want to do. So we'll come back to those Marylands that we took off earlier. So we've got the Marylands now, and we've got the carcass there, which we'll reserve, and we'll roast that, make a stock. You can make a broth with it. Once you've made your chicken stock, so simple chicken stock, roast the carcasses into a pot, onion, carrot, rosemary, bay leaf, peppercorns, a little bit of garlic. You can make a chicken stock, cover it with water, let it simmer for 2 to 3 hours. And then that's our base for sauces, or that's our base for a chicken broth. I had an idea this morning that you could use what I know you all eat very regularly, migoring noodles. You could do a student ramen and do a ginger chicken broth with your migoring noodles, which would, I'm not gonna lie, be pretty tasty. So we've got those there. We've got Marylands now. So as you can see, you've got that leg. It's called the knee. It's called the thigh. So we've got it there. What we're going to do is we're going to take that thigh bone out. If it's laying in front of you, you can see where the bone is. You feel with your fingers. You can see where the bone is through the meat. And what we're going to do is we're just going to push the meat away a little bit. Just use the tip of the knife just to free it up, so that we can open a little bit more. And then see, I'm using my hands the whole time. I'm not using the knife. I'm just twisting and pushing, and again, using gravity as my friend. And I've released, you can see there, I've released the whole bone, the whole joint's come out there. I'm just using the knife just to break through those tendons that are going to hold it on there. And I can just rip that away with my hands. I'm going to cut it a little bit more. But you can see that I'm not cutting through any of that beautiful meat. I've got that bone there that's been released, that's clean as. We'll keep that for the stuff. And there I've got the drumstick with the thigh attached. And what we're going to do is, again, we can see where the joint is on the knee. I'm just going to cut it off. Now I've got this beautiful piece of thigh that I can use to grill, crumb, fry, and use that on a chicken burger. So you've got 2 of these per chicken. So that's 2 chicken burgers, 1 for you and 1 for your partner, or 1 for you and 1 for you secretly later when no one's watching. So I've got that there. And we've got the drumstick as well, which we can marinate in the same marinade that we're going to do the wings in, which is just a little bit of chili, garlic, hot wings, if you will. But we've got those thighs there, and you can even just roast these up with a bit of garlic, thyme, and olive oil if you just want to have a little roast drumstick for dinner. So we've got that there. We'll do the same thing on the next one. Just gently releasing again, using our fingers, releasing most of it, breaking that knee joint. You'll hear it pop. And then again, barely use my knife. Probably made two, 3 cuts to get that out. So that's done. And again, we've got that nice Maryland. It's got the thigh attached. And if you're feeling pretty adventurous, you could stuff that and roast that as well. Chicken Kiev, classic. A little bit challenging, but very, very good. So I'm just going to cut that off again, and that's our second thigh for the burgers. Drumstick. So, as you can see, there are a whole bunch of chicken mess here, but this is our carcass there, which we're going to make stock from. These are our 2 drumsticks here that we're going to turn to hot wings, or just roast and have as a little mini roast. Skins here for an easy snack, or garnish for your student oven. 2 thighs for our burgers. Chicken breast here for schnitzels. And then we've got our marinated chicken as well, which we can use in a stir fry, or we could cut finer and we could mince that, use it for a whole range of different things. Just toss it through some rice or a pasta. Pesto chicken pasta is always lovely. You can always do that as well. But so that's pretty quick and easy way to break down a whole chicken and get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly 6 meals out of one chicken, which costs $7, which was really easy. Again, you don't need fancy knives. You just need an understanding of what you're doing. So hopefully everyone got a little bit out of the video. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. Don't be afraid to pop into local connections. You can always come and ask me a question. I'll have something to eat. But again, just instead of shopping the easy way, always try and shop, sustainably. Buy fresh vegetables. Use local butchers. It's always going to be the best quality, and it is really affordable. There's a misconception that meat and eating nicely has to be expensive, but it absolutely doesn't. You just need to know what you're doing. That's what I'm here for, to give you guys a hand in eating nice stuff at a budget. So I hope you got something out of the video, and I'll see you next week for some vegetable tutorials, which will be really good. I'm really excited about it.